In a move that's sending shockwaves through the global semiconductor industry, China has just dropped a bombshell, a massive 33% anti-dumping duty on certain semiconductor products from the United States and Taiwan. The announcement has left industry experts, market analysts, and political commentators scrambling to understand its deeper implications. As we dive into this complex situation, we'll explore whether this is truly about market protection or if we're witnessing another calculated move in an escalating technological Cold War. The stakes couldn't be higher, as this decision could reshape the entire landscape of global technology manufacturing and trade relations for decades to come. Setting the scene. To understand the gravity of this development, we need to step back and examine the intricate tapestry of global semiconductor politics. The semiconductor industry represents far more than just the tiny chips powering our devices. It's the cornerstone of modern technological supremacy and economic dominance. For years, the United States, Taiwan, and China have been engaged in an elaborate dance of cooperation and competition, each trying to secure their position in this crucial industry. These microscopic pieces of silicon have become the new oil of our digital age, controlling everything from our daily communications to national security systems. The global semiconductor market, valued at over $500 billion annually, has become the battleground where national interests, technological innovation, and economic power converge. The complexity of semiconductor manufacturing, requiring billions in investment and years of technological development, makes this industry particularly vulnerable to geopolitical tensions. Historical context. Before we dive into the current situation, it's crucial to understand how we got here. The semiconductor industry's evolution over the past 4 decades has been marked by significant shifts in manufacturing capabilities and market dominance. What started as a primarily American industry in Silicon Valley gradually transformed into a global supply chain, with East Asia emerging as a manufacturing powerhouse. Taiwan, in particular, through TSMC, has become the world's leading manufacturer of advanced chips, controlling over 50% of the global foundry market. China's journey in this industry has been one of determined pursuit of technological independence. Since the announcement of the Made in China 2025 initiative, Beijing has invested hundreds of billions of dollars in developing its domestic semiconductor capability. Despite these massive investments, China still relies heavily on imports for its most advanced chip needs, a dependency that has become a critical national security concern for Chinese leadership. The official announcement and immediate reactions. China's Ministry of Commerce has framed this 33% duty as a necessary measure to protect domestic industry from what they claim are unfair pricing practices. According to their official statement, American and Taiwanese manufacturers have been engaging in predatory pricing, selling their semiconductor products below market value in the Chinese market. This practice, known as dumping, has allegedly caused significant harm to Chinese domestic manufacturers who are struggling to compete with these artificially low prices. The announcement sent immediate ripples through the global financial markets. Stock prices of major semiconductor companies in both the US and Taiwan saw significant volatility. Industry analysts from major investment banks quickly issued revised forecasts, with some predicting this could reduce affected companies' revenues by as much as 15 to 20% in the Chinese market. The complex web of recent events. The semiconductor landscape has been particularly tumultuous in recent years. The United States has implemented sweeping export controls on advanced chips to China, citing national security concerns. These restrictions have significantly impacted Chinese companies' ability to access cutting-edge technology. The October 2022 restrictions, further tightened in 2023, specifically targeted China's ability to acquire advanced AI chips and semiconductor manufacturing equipment. Taiwan's position has become increasingly precarious, with its semiconductor giant TSMC caught between maintaining access to its largest market in China while adhering to US-led restrictions. The passage of the CHIPS Act in the United States, which dedicates $52 billion to domestic semiconductor production, has further complicated this delicate balance. The European Union has followed suit with its own CHIPS Act, while Japan and South Korea have announced similar initiatives. Technical impact analysis. The ramifications of this 33% duty will reverberate throughout the global technology sector in specific and measurable ways. American semiconductor giants face a challenging dilemma. They must either absorb these substantial additional costs, significantly impacting their profit margins, or pass them on to customers, potentially losing market share in the world's largest semiconductor market. For companies like Intel, AMD, and Micron, the impact varies based on their exposure to the Chinese market and their product mix. Memory chip manufacturers might be particularly vulnerable, as these products are more commoditized and price-sensitive. The duty could also affect the development and pricing of consumer electronics, as manufacturers might need to redesign products or seek alternative suppliers to maintain competitive pricing. The strategic dimension. From Beijing's standpoint, this move serves multiple strategic objectives that go far beyond simple trade protection. First, it demonstrates China's ability to respond to economic pressure with significant countermeasures. Second, it could accelerate the development of China's domestic semiconductor industry by making foreign products less competitive. Third, it might force technology transfers as companies seek ways to avoid these new costs. The timing of this announcement is particularly significant, coming after several rounds of US-led restrictions on technology transfers to China. It represents a clear message that China has multiple tools at its disposal to respond to what it perceives as economic aggression. The decision also aligns with China's broader strategy of achieving technological self-sufficiency, particularly in critical sectors. Global supply chain implications. The impact of this decision extends far beyond just the semiconductor industry itself. The automotive sector, already grappling with chip shortages, may face increased costs and supply chain complications. Modern vehicles can contain hundreds of semiconductor chips, and this duty could force automakers to either absorb higher costs or pass them on to consumers. Consumer electronics manufacturers might need to reevaluate their pricing strategies and supply chain arrangements. Companies like Apple, Samsung, and other major electronics manufacturers could face increased production costs, potentially leading to higher prices for end consumers. Smaller nations and companies integrated into the global semiconductor supply chain find themselves caught in an increasingly complex web of economic and technological competition. The innovation impact. One often overlooked aspect of this situation is its potential impact on technological innovation. The semiconductor industry has historically thrived on global collaboration and knowledge sharing. The increasing fragmentation of the market could lead to parallel development paths, potentially slowing overall technological progress. Research and development costs might increase as companies need to develop region-specific solutions. This fragmentation could also affect the pace of advancement in emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and 5G/6G communications. These fields rely heavily on advanced semiconductor technology, and any disruption to the global supply chain could have cascading effects on their development. Future scenarios and industry response. Looking ahead, several possible scenarios could unfold. In the short term, we might see companies restructuring their supply chains and potentially relocating some production facilities. The medium term could bring increased investment in domestic semiconductor capabilities across all major regions. Long-term implications might include the emergence of parallel technology ecosystems with different standards and specifications for different markets. Industry players are already developing strategic responses. Some are exploring advanced packaging technologies that could help circumvent certain restrictions. Others are investing in new manufacturing processes or alternative materials that could reduce dependency on traditional semiconductor supply chains. The role of emerging technologies like chiplets and advanced packaging could become increasingly important as companies seek ways to navigate these new challenges. The human element. Beyond the macro-level implications, this development has real implications for workers and communities tied to the semiconductor industry. Manufacturing regions might see shifts in employment and economic activity. Educational institutions and training programs may need to adapt their curricula to address changing industry needs. The competition for talented engineers and researchers could intensify as regions seek to build their domestic capabilities. Environmental considerations. The potential restructuring of semiconductor supply chains also raises important environmental questions. Semiconductor manufacturing is resource-intensive and can have significant environmental impacts. The possibility of duplicate manufacturing facilities in different regions could increase the industry's overall environmental footprint. This aspect needs to be considered alongside economic and strategic factors. Conclusion. As we reflect on this watershed moment in the global semiconductor industry, it's clear that this 33% duty represents far more than just a trade measure. It's a strategic move in an increasingly complex game of technological supremacy. The semiconductor industry has become the chessboard upon which the future of global economic power is being decided. The ramifications of this decision will likely influence technological innovation, economic relationships, and geopolitical alignments for years to come. The next few years will be crucial in determining whether the global semiconductor industry continues its path toward fragmentation or finds new ways to maintain interconnectedness while addressing national security concerns. What's certain is that the industry will never be quite the same after this decisive moment.